Have you ever looked in a face of age? Or lend your ears to what an old man had to say? 'Cause every generation of his life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Child is born to live within the master plan. Boy grows up, leaves his home to be a man. Vintage years of wine for the wine. Every generation of our life. Rise and plant your seed in the early spring. Summer's gone away, winter's back again. Yeah. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Time will make us change, nothing stays the same. A fool gets stung, hides his heart, and plays the game. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Yeah. Have you ever looked in a face of age? Or lend your ears to what an old man had to say? 'Cause every generation of his life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Child is born to live within the master plan. Boy grows up, leaves his home to be a man. Vintage years of wine for the wine. Every generation of our life. Rise and plant your seeds in the early spring. Summer's gone away, winter's back again. Yeah. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Time will make us change, nothing stays the same. A fool gets stung, hides his heart, and plays the game. 'Cause every generation of our life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Yeah. Time is truly wasted. There's no guarantee. Smile is in the making. We gotta fight the powers that be. Got so many voices saying all the same. Giving up all around me. Faces full of pain. I try to play my music. They say my music's too loud. I try talking about it. I got the big run around. And when I roll with the punches, I got knocked on the ground by all this bullshit going down. Hey, time is truly wasted. There's no guarantee. Smile is in the making. We gotta fight the powers that be. I don't understand it. People wanna say those that got the answers. Red tape in the way. I couldn't take to it easy. That's just half the fun. No, no. Seeking my satisfaction keeps me on the run. I try to play my music, say my music's too loud. I try talking about it, I got the big run around. And when I roll with the punches, I got knocked on the ground by all this bullshit going down. Oh, time is truly wasted. There's no guarantee. Smile is in the making. We gotta fight the powers that be. Got it, baby. Woo. Yeah. Even you and I can't fight the power. Come on. Fight it. Fight the power. Fight. Fight the baby. You're gonna fight the power. Fight it. Fight it. Fight the power. Fight it. Fight the power. Stand up and fight it. Fight the power. Come on. Stand up. Fight the power. Yeah. Fight it. Fight the power. I believe. Fight the power. Fight it. Baby. Yeah. Fight the power. Yeah. Power. Even you and I can come on. Fight the power. Stand up.
Yeah, we definitely fighting the power today here on the Open Line Radio Show. Open Line Radio Show is we actually doing it from our remote location today. Inclement weather all over South Louisiana. People, please be careful out there. There's so many things going on. Shout out to Brother Wallace. Shout out to Sister Khadijah, Brother Shaheed, and everybody else who make this show possible. And we want to always have a chance to put the show on today. And again, we could not be in the regular studios at KIEE 88.3 FM. We always want to give them a salute. The weather is very, very bad out there today. I mean, we have in what we call Armageddon type situation. If you think about it, people, we have, that's for all you climate deniers out there and all you so-called people who are anti-wokeness, because they include the people who are for better use of fossil fuels. They get on their cases, say we just making up stuff, we're making up numbers and so forth, right? But why are we having all this inclement weather out here? We have extreme heat in last summer. People forgot about the extreme heat. You know why you forgot about the extreme heat last summer? Because you had extreme cold winter weather in the end of December and January. You had extreme winter weather. So you forgot about the extreme summer weather. Now you experiencing extreme monsoon rain, thunderstorm, high winds in April. We normally do that, but at this level. So we have a lot of extreme weather, and a lot of that, according to the scientists, according to the people who do their research accurately, not no Donald Trump stick my finger in the air and see which way the wind blowing type weatherman. According to the scientists out there, this is caused by the extreme burning of fossil fuels, the changing of the atmosphere, and so forth. So forth. If you believe in going to see an eclipse, why you can't believe there's climate change? If you believe in nature, I mean, everybody wants to go to see the eclipse. I'm saying just like if everybody was saying, let's go see the nuclear bomb explode, we go run and see that. So I'm just saying why you can't believe in this extreme weather that's going on here in South Louisiana and other places around the country. Again, we want to thank AOC Community Media for all the great work they're doing to promote these shows like this and to give us the technology to reach the audience, rain or shine, you know. So bear with me if my power go out. We have a lot of bad weather, a lot of outages in South Louisiana. But before I go to the clip, I want to go to the Louisiana Lumina website. You see it on my screen. Again, this is a progressive form of a newspaper online publication. I would tell people to go and check it out. Let's see. I'm going down to the one that where Louisiana lawmakers, all they do is go to Baton Rouge and invent new laws to make up things that's already on the book. I think if you use something to harm somebody, use some chemicals, use some medicine, you use some type of just like with the drug situation, if you put you appart it to a person and giving them a certain drug that go harm them, well, they already lost on the book to do that. But they want to add on top of a law that's already, where you had a person who probably was a right winger who testified on behalf of with her brother, who's a Republican, Senator Thomas Presley, or a Republican in Shreveport. They filed a bill 150 on behalf of his sisters. Basically, he was saying that her ex-husband gave her an abortion drug in her drink without her knowledge. But they already lost on a book like that. But you see, they want to make this a big issue, so they're using this to put it under the cover of abortion, and which is a hot button issue. So why not be clear? Your intention is just to be anti-abortion. You know, the same people who want you to save the child want to execute the child. Well, preferably black children. You know, I don't think they have any love for the black community. They have love because of the numbers in, let's say, in according to the CDC, according to the Census Bureau, the dynamics, demographics in the United States are changing. The browning of America. Roland Martin said it so good, and he wrote a book called White Rage. Don't be offended because it says white rage. Like, you know, we always hear about black rage. You know, why not do a book called White Rage? And it's not a racist book. It's showing the demographics of why white America is upset because of the browning of America. At whose fault it is. Remember, white American ancestors brought black folks here in this country. So I'm gonna go to this clip right here in a minute with Roland talking about. Let's see, we could bring it up, and we could talk about some things here on the Open Line Radio Show concerning LSU and so forth, and let them break it down on the Roland Martin Show. So we could run this piece right quick.
Oh, if your name is Emmanuel Acho, a piece of your ass has been chewed up and spit out. Folks, they've been lighting this Fox Sports brother up after he made these comments following Angel Reese's news conference after they lost to Iowa. I'm sure y'all heard it. Press play.
I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did, post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't, under any circumstance, go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero. I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent.
So, that was the commentary. Now, keep in mind, y'all, that at the news conference after they lost to Iowa, a reporter asked Angel Reese a question about the last year since LSU won the national championship. This is what she was talking about.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and, like, not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, like, I'm still human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I get some type of inspiration that, no, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are, keep waking up every day, keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident. I don't really get to stand up.
That was what she was talking about. Well, in the past few hours, let's just say Acho got a earful. And this was today's video.
I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who has respectfully reprimanded me and offered brilliant opinions on the Angel Reese conversation. I do not believe there is any one way to think about things, but thank you to the Ryan Clarks, the Essence Atkinses, the Bozeman St. John's, the Trellas, the different individuals who is publicly and privately just giving me good wisdom, good feedback, good discernment. I understand. I think life is all about understanding. And so I just want to applaud those publicly, you watching, and those privately who have respectfully, the operative word there being respectfully, who have respectfully reprimanded me. Matt Barnes, incredibly wise words. So I thank all of you all for that. I do not stand on a hill saying that I am right and you are wrong. I simply stand on a place saying, hey, this is what I believe. What do you believe? Let's listen to one another and construct a collective belief. So love to everybody who's respectfully reprimanded me, and I appreciate it so very much. Thank you all for that.
All right. So I just want to let y'all know something. Roland is not a body language expert, but y'all can go ahead and show it. Let me explain something to you. Come on, show it. When you're talking and you're rubbing your neck, y'all need to give him a 2-shot. Y'all need to put a 2-shot. See, when you talking like this here, and you come on in 2 box. See, when you doing this here, and then you doing this here, you like, I appreciate y'all calling me. I appreciate y'all getting in my ass privately. I appreciate y'all, letting me know that my ignorant ass sounded like a damn fool. I really.
Respectfully.
Is it warm in here? Am I the only one? Is it? That's really what you just saw right there. For everybody watching right now, let me go ahead and give the cussing disclaimer that's about to ensue. Because I saw Reese earlier on Twitter. So, Lauren, I'm gonna go ahead and start with you. Let me go ahead and get, because you also text me like, Lauren was like, are we gonna deal with this tonight?
Well, I'll say this. There's a lot to unpack a little bit here. I mean, I get what he was trying to say. I do get what he was trying to say. I do think I'm a big Angel Reese fan. I think she's fantastic, and it's great to see women's basketball blow up in the ratings and everything else. But I think what people were probably really sensitive to was the terms gender neutral, as if there is no difference in criticism. But women athletes are coming into their own now, and I think people are now starting to have to make this adjustment. But after we saw the thing that happened in the LA Times, right? And then we hear Angel Reese tell us that she's been getting death threats for a year, which the first thing that I thought about was, wow, isn't that interesting that we can get a 40-minute, 10,000-word piece in the Washington Post about Kim Mulkey, but we can't get one piece in the Washington Post about Angel Reese getting death threats for a year. That to me is an extremely serious thing, and it's kind of like taken as, oh, no big deal, whatever. And, I think about that with a lot of folks that are in the news. Fannie Willis getting up on the stand telling everybody she's been getting death threats, and everybody acts like this is normal, business as usual. And it's not. It really isn't. And you do, at some point, have to attribute some of that to the gender of the people who are saying it. It's like nobody cares. But I do get some of his point, because I do think that, didn't the women's movement tell us that we were equal to men and we could do whatever we want? And then we get out there and do it and we get criticized. Some of us get sensitive to that. So it's like, if we're equal, we got to be equal with the criticism. And frankly, the guys get criticized a lot. Cam Newton, I can remember, Deion Sanders, people who are black, who are very assertive out there, particularly with sports. I think both men and women get criticized. I think it was just last week we saw a soccer player that plays for Brazil break down in tears because of the racism that he was dealing with.
Right.
And nobody talked about that. You didn't get the big outrage. You didn't get the big thing that you get.
Here's where he didn't understand context. What he did was he asserted that Angel Reese was crying because they lost. That's not what happened. She was literally asked a question. Also, let's factor this in. She announced a couple days later she was declaring for the WNBA. I can tell you, I remember having a conversation with someone on the bus coming back from our award ceremony in 1991 at the National Association of Black Journalists. And it was my last night as a national student representative. And I remember shedding tears. And I remember this sister was like, why are you emotional? Because what I did for 2 years and how much I invested and what it meant to me personally. So he screwed up by getting the context wrong.
Well, Acho should have shut his mouth, though, the minute that he heard that she was getting death threats for a year. Let's stop on that one for a second.
But that's my whole point. So that's my point.
Why was she getting checked after that and after what we saw with the LA Times?
But that's my point.
So shut his mouth on that.
So he got nailed. He got nailed. Yeah, he got. I mean, look, it wasn't like she came in and was crying because they lost the game. But here's the deal: even if she cried after the loss, I've seen men cry after their last game. I've seen college players who go, "There's no tomorrow." I've seen guys cry on the court. You'll see them, they'll lift the jersey of their eyes because in that moment, they know that it's over. And they may not be going to the NBA. And even if they go to the NBA, it doesn't matter. We saw the other night, Steph Curry have on-court emotion when Draymond Green got kicked out of a game in the first 4 minutes. And here's the Golden State Warriors fighting for they're literally in the number 10 slot, 1 game ahead of my Houston Rockets. In fact, they're playing right now. I just got the alert. And so Steph is sitting here going, dude, what are you doing? I'm 35 years old. I don't know how much longer I play. And Steph was emotional and where he kicked the chair and he put the jersey over his face. So, okay, the villain. So all of that,
See,
that's why he sounded like a damn idiot.
That villain thing, he sounded like a damn idiot on that villain thing because that's exactly what the dude at the LA Times did. I don't know why he wasn't paying any attention to that. But just to wrap it, I do think the point that he was trying to make about the gender neutral criticism is that he's trying to say that the lady players should get criticized just like the men do, or that if you're going to get out there and sort of be like the person who's always sort of asserting themselves in a certain way, you can expect some criticism. I think that's what he was trying to do.
I don't know
there.
frankly, okay, here's the deal. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do because before I go to Reese, I don't know what the hell he was trying to say here when he was on Van Lathan's podcast and he actually said this.
When white people say, well, racism doesn't exist, I know why they say that because I've been in them rooms when they saying that. When I kick it with black people and they're like, all white people are racist. I know why you're saying that. All the while, I have the privilege and luxury of not having generational trauma because my parents were born in Nigeria. So, man, my method is removing some of the sting because I don't have that sting and trying to deliver a message in a manner that people can receive it.
Okay. Let me tell you why what you just said offends me.
Okay.
All right. You saying that you don't have generational trauma and you didn't mean it this way, but the reason, and it's, I have to name it, you saying that you don't have any generational trauma in some way meaning, or that in some way meaning that your delivery method to white people is going to be either more effective or more sanitized is, to me, dangerous. And let me tell you why. Everybody that you just named and what you're talking about does what they do in different ways. I don't think that any of the things that they do are necessarily harmful. But what I could say is a black man, a prominent one, acting as an emotional butler for white people and serving them the most milquetoast, unspicy, unseasoned brand of racial discourse and accountability possible could definitely be harmful. Like, we're fighting for our lives. And to me, having a conversation like that at that particular time, it's not that it's a different method. Everybody has a different method. Is that it's the wrong method, is that it gives cover for.
Reese.
Wow.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
You know, I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed, and somebody tagged me on that apology video, his emphasis on respectful and respectfully reprimanding him. And I have to say, fuck your respectful, because I think that it is arrogant and ridiculous to expect, and this is a very normalized thing, that people expect deference to their feelings when they just shitted on a Black woman unprovoked. Okay, here you have a young Black woman who has been subjected to death threats, who had AI porn. Okay, that's what she meant when she said sexualized, because they made fake porn of her through AI, and she had to defend that, and has been called a slave and all kind of racist insults. I mean, hell, let's throw Dr. Jill Biden in there. She was gonna invite the losing team because she liked, you know, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese taunted her a little bit.
Yeah, last year.
That was last year. But I'm saying you've had a person who is literally tearfully pleading for her humanity. That was not a sports conversation. That was a human being talking about her humanity and just asking for people to treat her like a human being. And he missed all of that shit because he saw a chance to dunk on, punch down, and shit on a Black woman who lost. A Black woman who came to prominence because she was a champion, because of her style, because of her confidence, because of her bravado. And here's the first time where you get to say, aha, bitch, and you took it. And you tried to play the whole gender neutral and racially indifferent thing, when that's bullshit, because that's exactly why people have the hot takes that they do. There are a lot of people that have confidence, that do the trash talk. That makes it entertaining. That's part of the reason why you're seeing record ticket sales for women's basketball and ratings. And that's part of the reason why you have, for the first time this year, women's basketball being able to even use March Madness branding. So it's bullshit to try to sit up there and disregard that and to attach words. I understand it's a cartoon character like Courage the Cowardly Dog because she showed emotion. Well, which one is it? You don't want her to be the biggest, baddest bitch who is, you know, who's leaning into, and mind you, as a defense mechanism, leaning into the villain role, because they're going to paint her with that no matter what. Anytime a Black woman opens up her mouth, she's a villain, period. So, okay, maybe she leaned into it. She made someone off, but good for her. I ain't mad at that. But that has nothing to do on court with what she was talking about in that interview. You don't hear Angel Reese out there, you know, failing drug tests, fucking with people or anything like that. She has respect from her peers. Caitlin Clark, the darling of white America basketball, has expressed respect for her. So how did he miss all of that shit? How did he miss the moment? How did he miss the message? It's because it was a Black woman who had the audacity to be confident, who had the audacity to affirm her own confidence and encourage other girls, not even specifically Black girls, but other girls who look up to her, to maintain their steadfastness in being confident. And so I applaud her. That's not cowardly. That's actually courageous. And you can be a champion and you win some and you lose some. But at the end of the day, we need to move forward with humanity. So I was one of those people that disrespectfully reprimanded him. And I will rhetorically stomp a hole in your ass every time people feel comfortable coming for and shitting on Black women for doing nothing more than having the audacity to be unapologetically confident and excellent, period.
I have a feeling where Greg is going to go, but I'm going to hold this.
No, you should say it. You should say it.
No. I got something queued up, but I have a feeling Greg is going to go there instead. But Greg, go right ahead.
I don't know. I mean, look, everybody, this is why we have to have the Black Star Network. We can't have this conversation in white spaces. Brother Samuel Ocho, Igbo brother, ask your mama and daddy about generational trauma. There's a little thing called the Biafran War in Nigeria. Ask your people, the Igbo people, because clearly you didn't learn it at home, and you damn sure didn't learn it at University of Texas, Austin. That's probably why DEI is important. You should have took a Black Studies class there, or an African Studies class. You know, Toyin Falola is the University of Texas, Austin. He's Igbo, man. Maybe you should ask your people about generational conflict when it comes to difference, because sometimes it can be Black on Black. Don't get me started on that. So we can kind of put him to the side. But the reason, you know, the man, he rubbing his neck and stuff, he don't want to lose his job because everybody's come for him. And I think that this is the issue. This is the issue. Now, I've been a fan of the women's game since, you know, my girlfriend was a forward at Tennessee State for the Tiger Gems, which is part of the problem. You know, HBCU women's teams used to have their own identities. They weren't lady anything. Now these Negroes have forgotten their history. Now they're the Lady Tiger is the lady whatever. No. Tiger Bells, Tiger Gems, Tiger Sharks. And that speaks to the point. I've never been a fan of slave master politics and plantation athletics. You know, I'm from Tennessee. I was in New Orleans over the weekend for the National Association of Black Social Workers. And they love those black. They love Flau'jae. They love Angel Reese till they lose. And at that point, the N-word throws freely like the Mississippi. The point is this, you know, old girl, the coach, Kim Mulkey, she dodged a bullet. She dodged a bullet. The LA Times did her a favor because I read that full, like y'all did, the full article in the Washington Post. And, you know, nobody who, you know, Du Bois and Black Reconstruction would have called her probably the poor white, you know, the striver. But I lived in Philly for 17 years, so I remember when John Chaney threatened to kick John Calipari's ass when he was coaching at UMass, and that's when Marcus Camby and boys was up there, and John Chaney, whose boys were always in class, who practiced at 6 a.m. so they could never have an excuse for missing class. You know, that Don Staley mentality, Don Staley coming out of Dobbins High School in North Philly, you know, I'm not sure that any of Don Staley's girls would be in Sports Illustrated swimsuit. But again, I'm having a serious conversation here. I'm coming to this point. This isn't a critique of Angel Reese. I'm looking at the coaches. I'm looking at the mentality. I'm looking at the uses and abuses of black people. I'm looking at the race war that is athletics. Because, see, I'm a fan of the women's game. I'm sure we all remember Don Imus' ancient dead ass when he called Vivian Stringer's young ladies the nappy-headed hoes on the Rutgers team. This was the race war between Rutgers, between Pat Summitt and them at UT. And, you know, if you read the Washington Post article, you know, Kim Mulkey worships Pat Summitt. But then so does Dawn Staley in many ways. But remember when the black women on the University of Tennessee team, and especially Rutgers team, was going up against the slave master in stores. That would be Gino, who always seems to find a couple of white girls to surround the sisters with. I'm sure for every Maya Moore, you got a Paige Bucket, you got a Rebecca Lobo. In other words, you know, women's sports no different than men's sports in terms of race war. And what I'm saying is that anytime I see a person like Kim Mulkey, got all these sisters down there in the bayou in a racist as hell Louisiana State, Baton Rouge, and then you basically don't care what they do as long as they help you win a championship. Shout out, of course, to Kim Mulkey, who ain't say a damn thing when the sister who got her a national championship was locked up in Russia because she MAGA as hell. They mad at her about the national anthem. Trust. That's a woman who would have I don't even want to see where she might have the tattoo play because I don't need to see anything on Kim Mulkey's body. But I'm saying she did not take those players off because of the national anthem. She MAGA as it gets in many ways. The point I'm trying to make is when you get to this, Samuel Acho is look, man, you're not even a sideshow in this. You're not even a sideshow in this. What you have is young people. And, you know, I got all the room in the world for young people. But you got young people in a space where these coaches in a plantation system, if they're not black women coaching them, and I'm very serious about this, they will engender this sense of anything goes that will have a sister from West Baltimore trash talking the white girl, because that's what she would do. And we all love it until it goes sideways. Were those tears because of the abuse? Absolutely. And you're right. She should, look, the minute you hear death threat, all bets are off. At the same time, of course, you are crying in part because you lost, because there's all this emotion there, because you want to beat these white girls and you want to keep going. But you know what? When the national championship is played, the only thing that I see flawed about Dawn Staley in South Carolina is that I wish there was one more word added to her title. Head coach, South Carolina State. I swear, I wish these black players would go play for black coaches at HBCUs, because once you go to these white schools and you up under these plantation system people, it becomes race war, and it's not gender. It's Shamika Holtzclaw at UT and Candace Parker and them. It's, remember, UNLV under Tarkanian. Remember the University of Miami football team. In other words, it's always proxy waste war, and they love their Negroes until they lose. Samuel Acho, brother, you wandered out in the middle of a race war and caught a stray, and you need a little bit more history before you start saying you don't identify with generational trauma. Because, son, what you don't know is a lot.
I knew Greg was going to go there a few months ago.
Oh, okay, you did.
No, I knew that because a few months ago.
There you go, people. I think you heard it. I think you heard what Dr. Greg Carr, I would advise you to listen to him on Roland Martin. Okay. On Roland Martin. Yes, he's on Roland Martin almost every day on the Roland Martin podcast, or check it out on YouTube. We appreciate Brother Roland Martin, especially when he's talking about the things we want to talk about. Roland is not always on the same page. You know, actually, some people say he pushed the Democratic Party too much in a sense. But certainly, we appreciate that. I think I got a caller. Hold on for a second. Caller, you have a comment? Hello, caller, you have a comment?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm glad you're sharing that with your audience and stuff, man. But that goes to show you how these white folks will find a token.
Yes, sir.
And replace the other tokens they have. You notice that Candace Owens didn't kick her out the white race now, and now they gave her a nigger wake up call, and now she's trying to come back to the black people.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is,
go ahead, brother.
we got to wake up and realize these people don't mean for us.
Right.
They want to use us. And you got what? You got Jesse, you got Stephen A. Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Shannon Sharp, Jason Whitlock. These are all the tokens that these white folks use in their media, especially when they come to sports, to put other blacks down. That way it can have the white culture look like they're some kind of fantastic player.
Right.
But the things you're showing is so direct, and we got to understand these people don't care about us at all. They care about what they can get out of us. And a lot of black people sending their children to these schools thinking they're getting educated, but it's nothing but an indoctrination on how to be a good nigger in this country.
And Mr. Kevin, I was there in the 80s in my other life, and you and I mutually know a person who played for LSU, and I think you worked with them in the past. And I experienced just being in that circle because I was in another life, in another relationship with some people who played for LSU. And I experienced the things that I saw, and that's like a plantation mentality when it comes to athletes. I remember Kim Mulkey, the little coach for LSU. She was a little white girl that played for a school out of North Louisiana. Then she went on to become the coach at LA. She played for Louisiana Tech. I used to go to those games, and used to play against LSU. And it's like she was the great white hope. Now, like what Brother Carr said, Mr. Kevin, I'm going to ask you to comment on that. Brother Dr. Carr said, they like black folks long as they're winning, but as soon as you lose, your ass out, if you know what I mean. Go ahead and give me a comment on that.
Most definitely. But you see, this is with every sports. Mm-hmm. They only like black people when we either playing sports for them or going to wars for them, not for us. And we as black people got to understand, we got to stop letting these people puppet us. You know, and the black guy he was talking about that made the comment, they're found and funded by white media. Mm-hmm. And what we don't understand, their job is to distract the narrative. Right. You know, so to make the white players look like they're something. But everything black people touches, we dominate. And white folks know this. I remember a while back, was that old white guy, he was Italian, Jimmy the Greek, slipped up and said that The reason why they don't want black people to start coaching was because they was already taking over everything. And the white media got so mad that he told the truth that they went find other black people to try to dilute him as a racist. Right. You know, and this is what we're not understanding. They will find those tokens who will give them their narrative to keep black people in their place. Right. And that coach, matter of fact, LSU, UL, they're all 80% black players. You remember they didn't want black people on their campus?
Right. And the notion,
but now they need black people for the financial advantage they give them. This is why Jeff Landry is getting so mad and using the Star Spangled Banner, a racist theme, to so say take their scholarship. And black people got to understand, put your lawyer on speed dial, because that's a violation of your civil rights, your violation of your constitutional rights. The only way you make white folks see the truth is to sue them. Because Jeff Landry is a dictator. And look, I'm starting to like Jeff Landry because he's hurting more white folks. As you notice, 3 million people didn't vote. And that's majority white people who called themselves Democrat, but they refused to go press that level for the black candidate they had, Sean Wilson. Mm-hmm. And this is why I'm always telling black people they claiming in all this other stuff. These white folks, whether they Republican, Democrat, or Independent, you are not part of their political system. Choose in their political system. And when I hear black folks who think they are educated saying, we got to go fight for our democracy in this country. Democracy. Every time we fight or cast a vote for these white folks, it's for their democracy. And now that you're seeing that Trump and all his goons are getting held accountable for their crimes, all around they want to rewrite the Constitution because it wasn't written to go against white folks.
Mr. Kevin, look what's happening in Louisiana. And I opened up the show with that today because I didn't think we was going on air. And I apologize to the listening audience that we're not on regular radio. We just on television today. But we got to take advantage when we have that time. And one of the things I want to bring up, look how they want to advance a new law. They already a law in the book, Mr. Kevin, in the Louisiana legislature. If you knowingly give somebody something to do something illegal, meaning like they're trying to push this thing to put a new law in the book about abortion, where if you give your spouse, your mate, your girlfriend, or somebody who's pregnant some type of drug unknowingly, it becomes another crime you could add on. But look, they already a law in the book. If you give somebody, I don't care if that's your grandmother, if you give her something that's gonna harm her or against her will or anybody, there's already a law in the book. But they want to push this Senate Bill 150 and they want to use the whole thing of abortion to put another law in the book. Now, for the life of me, I can't understand that.
Well, Jay, technically you do understand it because you're talking about it. Because you see, that's the biggest problem. See, these white folks are putting other white folks in fear because they're the minority. And the most people committing abortion is white people. Right. Legal abortion, white people. And white people are the minority. And they don't understand that they're trying to scare black people into their narrative. You remember a while back when they was paying black women to have an abortion?
Yes. Yes.
And that's the difference. Like all these laws they're creating is to make white folks go crazy. All the laws that was against black folk is now coming on white folks, and now they're saying they're being infringed upon while watching us being infringed upon. But when it's come to them, now they want to say us. We got to stop this. We got to go and vote. We got to do. But then when we help them out, what they do to us? We're gonna catch y'all next time because we got to take care of our next generation. Not our generation. One day you had the little white guy, David Levy, on, and he kept on saying, we got to do this. We got to do that. And then when you called yourself independent, he turned into y'all. You understand? Yeah. Like he actually got mad because you claim yourself as an independent. Right. Like they want the narrative of how we should be thinking. Meanwhile, they reaping all the benefit when we help them. Right. So all what is happening and all what Jeff Landry is doing is to show white folks, if you're trying to hurt black people, you're going to hurt more white folks than anything. So keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all making yourself more of a minority because, as you notice, white people fighting against white people. And to black people, you just got to stay out there, get you some popcorn, and watch it. Because none of them care about us. And now our kids are getting paid in the colleges, and it's bringing fear to these white folk. They're going to be losing revenues, and they cannot control them. Because look at Nick Saban, who became a millionaire off of black backs, now complaining they can't control him because they want to give money to him directly without going through us. Don't that sound like the slave masters?
Well, if you look at Coach Tommy Tuberville, I used to respect
another
him as
one,
coach.
another one
got rich. Yes, got rich.
And look, dumb as hell, yeah, Jay. He didn't even have a college education.
Right.
This him being white certified him to control black people. And that goes to show you how educated white folks truly are, because they're looking at us while they're getting raped and blaming us for what their own politicians are doing them. So we got to pay attention to this and let these white folk fight until they recognize who are the true leaders, which is black people. And don't be unapologetic. We got to tell them how it is. See, we've been lied to them for so long, making them think they're leaders, and now they really think they are. Meanwhile, as you see in all the little towns and all the little cities, laying people off because they are broke. They cannot keep robbing the poor to keep the rich alive. And the rich don't even want to give up their salary, but they're giving up the politician's salary, and the politician taking our salary for them to survive. Their end is near. We just got to stay out of it and let it die. Remember when Trump said he was going to break the government up?
Yes.
You remember that, right?
Yeah,
he said he was going to clean the swamp.
Yes.
The swamp is being cleaned by the people that lives in the swamp, which is our politicians. Because all they're doing is raping and robbing the people for the corporations.
Yes,
even in the school system, I'm seeing white folks fight.
They're kind of
quiet. But they don't want to teach Africa.
Just think of the so-called black elected leaders right now who are quiet in the Louisiana legislature when soon as they announce that they're going to be taking the money from out of the general funds to give to private school people who want to send their kids to private school. Now, you would think that some of our elected officials would say, look, you could be taking money from schools that don't have any funds. They're not saying a damn thing, you know?
Jay, they are part of it. They are found and funded. I'm going to say it again. They are found and funded to change the narrative that we as black people have to follow these white folks to the end. And that is a lie. Because as you notice, go ask any politician who their allegiance is to the people or to the party. They're going to tell you the party. They use the people to get to the party, which is owned and funded by the corporation. That's why they don't have real laws out there to make minimum wage be increased. That's why they're not holding none of these criminals that's stealing all the money, like, what's his name, Brett Favre?
Yes.
And all his goons stole all that money from Mississippi.
Yes.
And now our politicians are fighting to save him, instead of making a law that he is a criminal and go and fight him as a criminal. All the stuff that is done to black people is happening to white people. And like I tell y'all black people, and I can't elaborate this enough, enjoy the moment. Go get you some microwave popcorn and listen to them and let them go crazy how they tried to make us crazy by them trying to destroy us. We just got to get out of their system and start our own.
Yes, sir.
But keep talking what you're talking about, and it doesn't matter who you offend. And look, that whether the day happen for you to do the show out your house. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
So keep doing it, man. This is what people wants to hear, not the narrative of what they want to tell us. The truth. So keep doing it, and like I said, anybody get offended is their problem, not yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. Thank you so much.
All right.
There we go. I think we have another caller. Caller, welcome to the open line. Caller?
Hello.
Yes. Caller?
Yes, I was watching your show for a minute, and I just want to let you know that I'm white as white could be, and I did not vote for any Republicans.
Yes, ma'am.
I voted down the line Democrat.
Okay.
Because Trump is a criminal, and I would never in my lifetime vote for anybody like him. So I did vote for Sean Wilson because I voted for anybody
And what you think
that.
of the new laws that they're putting on the books in the state of
Yeah,
Louisiana?
exactly. And you know what pisses me off is the new the one from my parish that put the gun laws in effect.
Mhm.
You know, I disagree because now what in June everybody can carry a weapon without a permit.
You're speaking
And
on
you know,
Blake Miguez, right?
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
Right, right.
You know, and I disagree with that so much because I mean, in our little town, you know, they have juveniles killing juveniles. I mean, it's not even you don't hear about the too much even the adults. There's kids killing kids, and that disturbs me. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
the
You would
fact that
wonder why Blake Miguez, who is
well,
supposedly a
he's from
millionaire, wanted that job so bad, that Senate position so bad, and this is the outcome of why he wanted that job so bad, to
yeah. So
stay in line with the
he
Republicans. Yes.
you know it's all to do with the NRA, just like
Yes.
all the Republicans. They're just like gun happy people. Okay, I agree that I have one of my best friends. He has a concealed weapon, but every year or whatever he gets his permit, he has you know you have to. Yes, I agree with that. I
Yes,
mean
ma'am.
that's to me people shouldn't just be carrying guns without a permit. In fact, I had went on the website and like on Blake Migas, and this guy comes on there. He says, "Well, I never had a permit anyway, but thank you."
Yes.
I was I was like, uh, uh,
Well,
yeah,
well, and
you just like the rest of the criminals.
you're a concerned citizen. You people did. I don't know if people looked at the actual numbers in the state of Louisiana, the number of violent death at the hands of guns in the hand of people who not
Well,
even
that's what
if
I'm
you,
saying. You
yeah,
know,
the numbers don't
there's
match for
in
a
our
small
little
state.
town, there's juveniles killing juveniles lately, and it's horrible. I mean, these are kids, you know,
Okay.
and that concerns me
Yes,
very
ma'am.
much.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I was raised in the, I guess, in the 70s,
Yes.
and my father was a 30-year veteran of the Navy, and I was segregated in the 7th grade.
Hmm.
And you know what he told me? He said, "You going to school, you don't bother them, they're not going to bother you."
Hmm.
And throughout my life, I have raised my children like this and my grandchildren.
Okay.
So much that one day when my granddaughter was going to junior high, I said, "Well, who's in your class?" And uh, whatever. And I said, well, no, she actually had a boyfriend in elementary school one day. And he was getting an award, and she's like, "Hey, that's my boyfriend." And all the black girls in the school kind of like turned around, like looked at her. But because she was never taught that
Yes.
people are a different color.
Okay.
Because I mean, she's white. So, like, she's like, "Hey, that's my boyfriend." Because they've been going to school since kindergarten. And she didn't know that people were different because she was never, that's
Yes.
how I was raised. I mean, I knew a little more because I was, like I said, I got segregated in 7th grade. And, but neither one. My
Yes.
grandson had a black girlfriend in elementary school too, you know. And one of his best friends was black, and that's just how I raised my kids. We don't see people are people.
Yes.
And yeah, so but we're actually not from here.
Yes.
Well, I'm not from here,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
it didn't matter. This is the way my father raised me, and he actually had coached a boys baseball team that were black at the little league, and they ended up winning a championship and everything. But like I said, my daddy just didn't raise me like that.
Yes.
So don't say all white people because that offended me. I'm like,
Okay.
hell no,
Okay.
that's not me.
Okay. So you technically you disagree with the laws that they put, especially the gun laws. You know, that's pretty
That
extreme.
bothers me.
Yeah.
That really bothers me. Especially, my grandchildren. Well, my oldest one is on the autism spectrum, and there's times where he has meltdowns. Thank God my neighbors know him. But who's to say if he starts acting up, somebody might think it's kid and shoot him or something, Because, I mean, the police have to be aware because we've had times where we actually had to call the police. Now he's afraid of them. But, like, so yeah, it is a little scary for me.
Okay, well, I definitely appreciate your call. The lines are lighting up now, and don't be a stranger.
And my brother was murdered also. So when he was only 16 back in the 80s. So no, I don't like guns.
Well, thank you so much. We're glad we got your opinion.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Just want to let you know. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Certainly, that is a passionate issue. Jeff Landry and Blake Miguez and the whole cohort of crews just want to arm Louisiana to the teeth. Louisiana that leads the nations in gun deaths and violence. Well, if not the top 50, it might be 49, 48, and so forth. And you see, this is not about first the amendment to carry arms. It's more about some type of supremacist situation going on with you. Let me get this call. Caller, welcome to the open line.
Hello, brother G.
Good morning, caller. Good morning, Sister Khadijah.
Yes, good morning. Another powerful show. You and your guests, they just keep us informed. I know a lot of the things that Mr. Kevin said, he'd be right on point. I just wanted to mention that it's really hard when you look at the fact that so you have all these laws that's coming out, and the laws are being written up, sponsored by white men,
right.
And they're doing their best to try to keep the blacks shut up and everything, and that in itself is a problem because some of our representatives were supposed to be representing us and not the good old white boy system. Right. I wanted to say that. Oh yes, I wanted to mention also. I don't know if you mentioned about the a Walmart gift.
Yes. Well, yeah, Walmart is. I had pulled it up when the weather hit Sister Khadijah and knocked everything out. I had pulled up the Walmart. If you ever bought groceries, weighted groceries, meaning poultry, meat, citrus fruit, and so forth, and it was weighed, it had a certain price in the bags and something like that. Well, Walmart technically cheated you, which they always do. And so there's a class action suit that was settled. They got to distribute up to $45 million. It should have been more. And you could get anywhere up from a few dollars if you got your receipts to $500 some a pop, which is not much for being cheated by Walmart. So you could go on any website and Google Walmart lawsuit and it could come right up. And you could also download the document once you make the link to the Walmart class action suit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So right. So you did mention that, which is idea. I think also we also need to let the audience know about a squatter scam. A squatter scam. It's Brother G. Are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm seeing your fingers going back and forth. I don't know what that is.
No, that's the switching of the cameras. We in our studio, we could do all kind of things, Sister Khadijah. You know that.
Yeah. Yes. That to let people be aware of the squatter law, whether it's a relative or not. Anytime somebody go and get mail from your house, they have slept over there overnight. or you're trying to help out someone, and all of a sudden when it's time for them to leave, they don't want to leave. Then they call the police, and when the police get involved, the police automatically letting you know, well, there is a squatter law, and she is correct, and she don't have to leave even though you have told her to leave. So that in itself is going on all over, and we need to be aware. We need to be aware of that. Also, Brother Jay, I don't know if I know that on the, I think it's going to be, on the 16th, Tuesday, April the 16th, there's going to be sentencing for the young 11-year-old with in the 15 and the 16. Wait a minute, 16 JDC out of in New Iberia, brother. Okay, the 16, 16 JDC right there in New Iberia. There at 1:00, there's going to be a sentencing for the 11-year-old, and what Judge Roger Hamilton Jr. has, and it's going to start at 1:00. But instead of the young girl being charged, she's going to be charged with obstruction of justice, not the second-degree murder, accessory after the fact, as long as she testified on her 15-year-old brother. And this is involving the guy named Cameron. Judge Hamilton Jr. put a gag order on the case, and the attorneys can't tell you the truth, and you don't know what else is going on. But it just goes to show you that that's still a child, and whatever transpired, what could make her want to shoot? What can make her want to shoot this 36-year-old man if something horrific is not going on? So
well,
go ahead.
Sister, well, this story has made the national news for those listeners and lookers out there. It made the national news. We were honored, Sister Khadijah, to have the editors of the Final Call magazine and the emissary from Minister Louis Farrakhan to have concern about that. That means that story is on a global level. And the whole thing that we try to do, and hopefully people like myself and others behind the scene would like to expose these stories to the national scene, to let them know what we're going through here in the state of Louisiana, when we got wicked people that sits in those courthouses, such as the 16 and the 15 and so forth, and keep on doing the same thing they did 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. It's the same thing. Even if it's a new face, even if it's a black face, as the judge, he would understand the trauma of young black children in those situations. And to make it secret also is a problem.
Okay. All right. And you don't remember, I'm not exactly sure, Mr. Kevin probably remember when Roger Hamilton Jr. was kicked out of the 16 JDC, and he had to come and travel to Lafayette and
work in the 15 JDC.
Huh?
He worked as a DA in the 15 JDC.
Right. He was in the 15 JDC in Lafayette, but remember, he had got kicked out. Mm-hmm. When I say kicked out, they had to spank him to let him know he don't call no real shots. He don't call no real shots here. So they spanked him, and then now all of a sudden he's right back, in the midst of all those corruption. I think if we just took our time and just wrote down facts with dealing with all of the semi-corruption in Iberia Parish, particularly dealing with the 16 JDC, it would really sting people mind to say, well, this actually happened. Yes, it did. And Brother Jay, if you remember, in 2003, Dr. Falterman's grandson, Nicholas, was killed by James Falterman III over a TV remote. And when I say killed, and he was killed. Chad Hazelwood Jr. Chad Hazelwood Jr. Who's been let's see, I have to say things, and I have to say things completely factual. Remember, he was the one that lied on Deshauna Mallory, claiming that Deshauna Mallory had hit him, and when he was like almost 280 or 300 pounds at that time. He roughed up that little young lady. She got arrested. We had to go and try to protest. The mothers, they raised money for Deshauna Mallory. You remember that?
Yes. He has a very checkered track record. Actually, the feds prosecuted him. He was working in conjunction with the feds, and he did some unauthorized access to a government computer to access information for his private business. And it's a wonder that people like him don't be put in a database, such as the one who's assistant chief in St. Martinville, Cordy Laperouse, and those people who have applied their evilness in the Black community are rewarded with higher position. Now, I think Chad Hazelwood himself is a justice of peace in Laurelville or something like that. So Laurelville,
right?
Go ahead.
Chad Hazelwood Jr. Yeah,
yes.
He's something in Laurelville.
Well, the father was a high-ranking officer within Sheriff Lewis Ackle Department, where many of his deputies were indicted under federal charge. So when you go back, Sister Khadijah, and I'm gonna let you speak to the 16 JDC, there are so many scandals that went on in the 16 JDC, and we seem to gloss over it. Some of us, not all of us. You and I know. If you look at what happened to Judge Lori Landry, a former DA within that, and a judge who they was trying to pressure for some other reasons, and she outed them about their racism, and look what happened to her. So we know the 16 JDC has a track record. People just don't want to admit it. It's to keep white supremacy in power. And no ways about it. And no other reason but corruption and to keep white supremacy in power.
That's exactly correct. And then not only that, when you say keep them in power, let's somewhat explain what type of power that we're talking about.
Black folks.
Okay, you're right.
Treating them harshly, giving them long sentences. Police brutality was looked the other way. You had the DA Phil Haney and the other one DA. They looked the other way when we had a hornet's nest of bad rogue police officers from the New Iberia City Police, old New Iberia City, to the ones at Lewis Ackle. They look the other way. If you know all of this is going on and you don't do nothing, the feds have to come in and prosecute these people, and they pled guilty. They said no contest, and then they turn around and let the big fish off the hook. So
that's right.
Ranting on that. We could talk about it for 365 years, not days, years.
Yes. That is exact. I'm assuming that we're still on. They just flashing that national weather message board, I guess.
Yeah.
And everything.
We might come back.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to.
Too hot for the powers that be, I guess. I don't know.
The truth shouldn't hurt nobody. That's for sure. That's for definitely sure. We have the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. I wish that we could get someone from there to come on the radio to explain to us, what else is going on with y'all. I mean, the fees, if you don't have this, you don't have that, they take your license, you can't work, then they put on these astronomical fees. And that in itself will stop you from getting work, no matter how you look at it.
Yes. Well, sister, I want everybody to know that there could be a documentary coming on PBS, and it's commissioned by the Associated Press ProPublica, the people that have been doing investigative work, journalism for a long time, talking about the number of people who were killed at the hands of police in the last 10 years, over 1,000 people, and talking about the numbers that they don't keep, the numbers that they hide from people. There's an article right now, I'm putting to it on television. If you could watch it, go to the appeal.com. I don't know if I'm still on AOC.
Yeah, they brought you back on, G.
Yeah, the Appeal, and it says this: despite reforms, Louisiana still keeps some police data secret. Now, now just go to that article and read about it, and you will understand that they got what you call wandering officers, people who do wrong things in one jurisdiction and get hired by other jurisdictions, such as we talked about the assistant chief in St. Martinville or Chad Hazelwood, people like that, who done some wrongness in the Black community and get to go work somewhere, or even your congressman from the 3rd Congressional District, Clay Higgins, who was allowed to resign and then work for the St. Landry Sheriff Department and use a video to go viral and become a Trump-like figure in the United States Congress. We got people like that that's running or making laws. People who want to harm us, who get away with stuff like that and go work in other jurisdictions.
Right, and don't forget about Marcus.
Who? Marcus?
Yes, don't forget. Yeah, but don't forget about Marcus. I think that's his name. Who took Representative Landry? Who Representative Landry endorsed?
Well, you're talking about Mr. Bryan, Marcus Bryan, who's a representative from the state representative district from this area. Well, in a sense, he has not represented the people in a very Black folks. Let's say that Black folks. Correct. Let me tell you what they say to us, Sister Khadija. They tell you they can't be the representative for Black folks. They represent for everybody. Well, you know what? You're running for a Black majority district, and you claim you're Black when you're running, but when you get in that office, you claim you're the representative for everybody. That is so crazy, and we don't call him out on that. Mr. Kevin called him out on that. I'm gonna give him that credit. He called him out on that. You can't say you run for a Black seat, and then when you get in there, you don't represent Black folks, and that's all we got right now in the state legislative body. That's why these Republicans are running the goddamn board with them.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. And also when we go back to Jeff Landry, he refused over 70-something millions of dollars that was going to the SNAP children.
Yes.
That. Yes, and they done got to the point where they're not even trying to hide nothing that they do. They want to confuse you with trying to get you off track. But yeah, how he made it for governor is just something, because really the better governor would have been Mr. Sean.
Probably so.
Mm-hmm.
Since I got another call, you want to stay on the line, or you want me to take this call?
No, I'll hang up.
And in the future, we can have a 2-line for the future. Let me get this call.
Okay.
Thank you. Caller, welcome to the open line. Caller, call back. I think we missed the caller. Call back. Yes, in the Louisiana, the Appeal magazine, online magazine, there's an article about, despite reforms, Louisiana still keeps some police data secret. Lawmakers tried and failed to track wandering officers, but state regulators also refused to release data that would help journalists and the public do so. The story is being published by the Appeal and the Invisible Institute, a Chicago-based nonprofit public accountability journalism organization. Let me take this call. Caller, welcome to the open line.
Yes, sir. Good morning,
Good morning, caller.
Brother
Thank you, Brother
J.
Wallace.
Yeah, you got a very, very good show this morning, man. You know, uh, that's one thing I can say about Sister Khadijah. She not scared to talk about what needs to be talked about.
16
Brother
JDC.
Kevin, yeah, Brother Kevin, not afraid to talk
Yes.
about what needs to be talked about. But you know, Brother J, my thing is, you know, we're supposed to have a black caucus, you know, and I don't understand what caucus means
Right.
because they don't run nothing.
Right.
You know, we still have all these white folks running stuff, you know, making laws on us.
Yeah,
that,
while we sleep. While we sleep. Look, well, I'm gonna give you this one. So this one just flash on my screen. Brother Wallace, tell me what you think. They want to propose. I just mentioned one other one to Kevin about the abortion thing they want to add on, but this one is about librarians. They want to add a bill to make it the penalty for librarians who violate any of the rules they put. A librarian now. A librarian is so important. I remember when I go in the library, it was so mundane. It wasn't nothing important going on in the library but to read a book. But they want to make it so to keep certain information out of the minds of people that they go charge a person with a harsher penalty than a person who commits assault. Only in Louisiana. You can't, if you go to the library and you do the wrong thing, or the worker in there do the wrong thing, you will be charged worse than somebody who committed an assault. That is so crazy. Only in Louisiana. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, well, you know, they want to change all the laws against us, you know, and when they change the laws against us, it should go for everybody. But we get the stricter laws, and they don't get nothing, you know. Look at all the things that our y'all ex-president is going through. They still not trying to convict him on nothing. All that is talk. Who he gonna go against in the front of? Republican judges, you know, and those people gonna let him off the hook. Just watch, you know.
Right.
But Brother Jay, that's what I was calling you for, to let you know you have a very good show. Love the way your setup is, man. I wish I was there with you because it looked like a nice setup, you know. You keep up what you're doing because this is the way we get that information, bro. And that's why they don't want us in the library because they got too much information in the library, and that's what's making us smarter than what we used to be. Thank you, Brother Jay.
Next time somebody asks the children, ask me to go to the library, I'm going to say, I'm not going in the library. I'm scared. I'm going to the nightclub. It's safer in the nightclub. Actually, with all the guns, it's going to be safer to go in the nightclub than to go in the library.
Very, yeah. So, I don't know. All right, Brother Jay, we're going to holler back later.
Thank you so much, Brother Wallace. Yes, again, people, I want to thank AOC Community Media and KIEE 88.3 FM. We're not on KIEE today. We had some very bad inclement weather in South Louisiana, and even the radar screen is still popping up, and southeastern Louisiana are going to experience some real bad weather because I think we over the bad part here in South Louisiana, on this end, South Central Louisiana. Again, we're not on the air simulcasting. We just on AOC Community Media and on social media. But thank God for any type of media when we have these situations. Again, go to the appeal, and I'm glad they focusing on Louisiana. Louisiana needs to be focused on, and I understand this, people. Nothing gonna change in Louisiana if we don't dare to do something different. We can't just keep going on into that legislative body and hope and pray that these people have goodness in the heart for the people that they're supposed to be serving. Also in Louisiana, the Black population and poor people, and people of color. But you got to just grin and bear it, because sooner or later it self-implodes on itself. Because you could keep making crazy laws, and you could keep having this state technically last and everything. There's just another article that was on KLFY. KLFY is more mainstream than anything you could think of. Some feel-good people. There's an article about Louisiana has the most anxious people. Sister Khadija, welcome back.
Oh, yes, yes. Good comments from your audience, Bro Wallace. I wanted to mention too that we need to remember about predatory lenders, and what about car dealership that takes your money, the car burns up, and they fighting you for something mediocre as phone record. What? They think you work for the CIA?
Yes.
You know, and I would say who the car dealership is.
Yeah, yes. That's coming soon. That's coming soon, sister.
Well, we need to hear part of it now.
Well, sometimes your legal situation don't dictate that you open the door on that yet. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna open it up for you. And it's very important.
Yes, we lost our call. I didn't hang up on you. If you're listening, call. I didn't hang up. I didn't hang up on you. Call back, please. Certainly, we have a lot going on. Let me get this call again. Caller? Hello, caller? Oh, we lost this caller too. Certainly, we have a lot going on in South Louisiana as it pertains to law enforcement and hiding on April. In April,
3, 7, 8.
In April, there'll be a very important documentary dealing with the number of people killed by police and the people it affects, and it gonna mainly deal with Black folks who have been assaulted, beaten, tased, killed, choked by law enforcement. So stay tuned. It's commissioned by the Associated Press, ProPublica, and it will be running on PBS. It's on in April 30th. I'll be sure to give everybody the times and places and stuff like that. So let's say in 2015, lawmakers created a database to track police certification, which offers much maintain to work in law enforcement. Legislators claim that the information would prevent police officers with history of misconduct from finding new law enforcement job in other jurisdictions. That's a damn lie. Jeff Landry, home area of St. Martinville, hired Cody Lapérouse and he's ascended to the first position of chief in Louisiana. And he was on camera with the feds, made him plead guilty. I think we got another call. Certainly, caller. Let's see. Let me get you back on. Caller, are you there? Caller, we still having issues. Keep trying. I don't know why it's kicking me out. I'm trying to bring you back on. Okay? But we know Cody Lapérouse, who's the videos out there. Actually, YouTube tried to hide the video of him beating the people at the Sugarcane Festival who were handcuffed, I think, detained at the Sugarcane Festival some years ago during that advent of Sheriff Louis Ackle. But he's the assistant chief now. Maybe so he reformed himself because he did play it. But the public need to know. And when St. Martinville made that decision to hire him, did they inform the people and had a public meeting saying, well, this person engaged in this and this person pled to a certain offense? Do you want to hire him, people? No, they didn't do it. They just went and hired him. So this is what this article is about. People like that. And maybe I'm being a little harsh by exposing this situation, but hold up. We don't get to choose when we're on the side of the road with certain law enforcement people. We don't get to choose who should be stopping us, you know, especially Black folks. I'm going to play this clip right quick from Roland Martin where, let's see if we could find it. What happened with, let's see if I could find it. Okay, there we go. We're going to play this clip, and feel free to still call in. Let's see. It's not playing right here. I want to play this clip. It's not playing. It's the case in St. Martin. It's the case in Tallahassee, Florida. It's the case in Tallahassee. It's not playing right quick. So, well, that's okay. That's okay. It's the case in Tallahassee, Florida, where a person who was stopped by two female white officers, and they said he had a suspended driver's license. And when they took him back to be detained in the car, they noticed they came back with an sealed alcohol container, and she opened it and emptied the liquor out and put it in his car, and they charged him with a DWI because he refused to take the breathalyzer test. He said he didn't want to take it because he didn't consume no liquor. And they actually acknowledged, and they got her body cam footage that she planted the drugs. I mean, she planted the alcohol, and they still convicted him. I don't know if it's just because he refused to take the breathalyzer test or whatever that test they give in Florida, but they convicted this innocent brother who lost his car, he lost his job, everything behind the racism, because they only do it to black folks. They don't do it to nobody else, you know. So I just want to say that part. Let me see if I could add it again. And let's see. Okay, that's on media. And we want to add it again. Let's see. It's concerning. Let's see. And that is so troubling for something like that to happen in this day and time. You think that would happen in the 60s, but it's happening now. That people are getting pulled over and something's getting planted on them. That is so troubling. Well, we could try this other video right quick too, if it's still here. Let's see. Nope. It's not coming through anyway, so we're just gonna.
Yep. You know, there was a guy who had evidence planted on him after a DUI stop. Well, that person has been found guilty, believe it or not. Let me remind you of the video. Here it is.
Meet Calvin Riley. He's being stopped by the Tallahassee Police Department on South Monroe.
Hello, sir. I'm Officer Oliver with Tallahassee Police Department.
She'll plant evidence of an empty liquor bottle in Riley's car before arresting him for an alleged DUI. Riley's license is suspended, and officers decide to arrest Riley on a first offense for his suspended license.
Would you be willing to do some voluntary field sobriety exercises?
Not really.
Okay. Here, go ahead and step out of the vehicle for us.
They didn't tell him the consequences of refusing that voluntary test.
Just go ahead and face the corner of the car for us. Your license is
After detaining Riley, they ask him if he smoked any marijuana.
Mr. Riley, I got a quick question for you.
No problem.
So I smelled marijuana in your vehicle. Did you recently smell?
No.
Once he's arrested for driving with a suspended license, they can search his car. Officer Oliver leaves the car, does a 360, and then goes back in the car, retrieving a sealed liquor bottle and pours it out. That was the sound of the seal on the liquor bottle breaking. Here's another angle. While Officer Muth questions Riley about marijuana again,
Did somebody else smoke in your car earlier?
Oliver tosses the empty bottle into the passenger seat. They don't find any marijuana in the car.
Here's what happened next.
Here's Officer Oliver implying to Officer Muth that the empty bottle was likely what was in a cup in Riley's center console.
Cover where like the knee would sit, there's an opening and he had it like tucked. Okay. And then the whatever he had in his cup also smelled.
Then Officer Muth tells a senior officer that they found open alcohol in the car, in both a bottle and a cup.
Did y'all search the car?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing in there?
Yeah. Well, okay, so he had a bunch of alcohol stashed in there, but
Nothing open or anything?
yeah, open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, in his like Tervis in the center console, he had a mixed drink, and then under his knee, he had a like little bottle of vodka tucked away.
When officers group to discuss the case, they all ask each other if their body cameras are off.
Still alive. Any evidence of that?
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Are you still on?
The video ends at this point.
Despite the evidence that you just saw, this man was still found guilty of the crime, with millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable. We just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. All right, let's put him up full mass. Calvin Riley received a guilty verdict in his DUI trial. Jurors found him guilty Monday afternoon after deliberating for less than an hour. The judge sentenced Mr. Riley to 10 days in jail and 6 months probation. During a pretrial hearing, Officer Kirsten Oliver has been deposed twice in this one case. In her second deposition, public defenders handed her a copy of the TPD police number 42. However, she was unable to locate any section that prohibited impounding liquids. Oliver states, I don't remember at least 16 times during her deposition. The public defender's office debated in a series of pretrial motions that testimony and body camera evidence of the liquor bottle not be admitted as evidence in the trial. The state attorney's office objected, quote, Officer Oliver had no ill intent behind this, had no reason to believe that it would exonerate the defendant, said Assistant State Attorney Emma Hershey. Now, let's say this very clearly. Every state has a law as it pertains to open containers. If the container, the alcohol, still has the seal, there is no statutory violation. However, if the seal has been broken, now there's a statutory violation. Literally, the officer is the one on camera breaking the law. Just think about it in context. Take away the blue uniform. The officer is the one in possession in public with an open container. The officer is the one who places said open container inside of a vehicle. Those are your statutory violations. There's more. Officer Margaret Mueth, who helped Officer Kirsten Oliver with the DUI arrest, in her arrest report, Mueth wrote that, quote, a search of Riley's vehicle yielded a small, approximately 5 fluid ounces bottle of vodka that was opened in a pocket on the driver's seat cover. During her testimony Monday, Mueth said she did not know Oliver had opened the bottle. Quote, we found it in the evidence, we found it in the vehicle, so I listed it in my report because I did not want it to look like I was hiding anything, the officer said. The officer noted that Riley was already in handcuffs by the time Officer Oliver poured out the liquor bottle. Officers testified that Riley was driving with his headlights off at night, was swerving and acting aggressive. Body camera footage played in court showed Riley yelling at the officers and refusing to take a sobriety test. The second witness was TPD Sergeant Brian Smith. He was called to the scene later to help officers Oliver and Mueth transport Riley from one patrol car to another. Oliver is one of the newest hires in the department as a result of the TPD Chief Lawrence Rebel's aggressive hiring practices. After the video gained thousands of views and reactions last week, TPD released a statement denying allegations of any misconduct. Department officials declined to release the full footage until after the trial. Put them up. WCTV reached out to the state attorney's office for comment on Monday. State Attorney Jack Campbell responded with this statement, quote, "We greatly appreciate the hard work of the jury and of our prosecution team. We also want to thank the Tallahassee Police Department and his young officer for doing her job despite this unwarranted attack." Unwarranted, you say. Far too many members of our community have lost their lives due to drunk driving, and a jury of his peers found that he was driving while impaired that night. She made Tallahassee safer by stopping him. The media campaign was done by a professional political operative who has no obligation to make our community safe or even tell the truth, he says. His attempt to politically assassinate an officer's credibility on the internet is unconscionable. Fortunately, despite the attempts to tamper with a jury that had already been selected, they saw the truth. I hope our community will continue to trust the public servants who serve us each day rather than the cowards who never enter the arena and just criticize those who do. Put up the AG again. Attorney General, you have now cited that a citizen engaged in jury tampering. That is a legal term of art. You have accused a citizen of a crime. Are you convening a grand jury in order to indict said citizen for interfering or tampering with the jury? If not, I recommend this individual sue the hell out of you quickly for defamation, slander, libel. You're careless, AG. You know good and damn well what that officer did was completely outside of protocol. And then the fact that the police report indicated that the bottle was found in that manner without providing context as to the fact that the partner officer did it. So if this was all about being on the up and up and not hiding anything, why hide that part of the police report? Unwarranted my ass. All right. Here's the thing, Sharon. Maybe the guy was impaired that night. Maybe he has a drinking problem. That is possible. But there's a fact here that we know. And the fact is, the officer planted evidence, period. All right, what say you?
Here's what I say. The system is working exactly as it's designed against Black people. Note to Black people in Tallahassee, you gotta get out of the state. Gotta get out of the city, the state. FAMU students, stay on campus. You are in danger. There is a threshold, Doc, to due process. And any uniform officer who behaves unlawfully and or sloppily, didn't know the law, lied on the body cam, I believe is still lying today. I can't look at anything else. Who's inebriated, who's driving on the, I can't trust you. I gotta throw you out of there. And I'll make one other point. The fix is in because, of course, as you know, prosecutors and police, they work together. And in this case, perhaps also with members of the public who don't share the worldview of a Black man, they're working in concert.
Yeah, definitely working in concert. This is a conspiracy, in my opinion. All right, we will bring you updates if there's an update that comes.
Yes, people, I'm back. Welcome back to the Open Line Radio Show. We definitely appreciate you listening in. People, I'm back. It is troubling that we have to deal with things like that, let alone everything else Black folks have to deal with in our communities. Granted, so that some make it out, some do good, some are buying not and living in different neighborhoods and so forth. But this is not necessarily the norm that we get by every day without being harassed or stopped by law enforcement. True, we have some situations in our community that we have to address with crime and so forth, but that does not warrant. You can't put those two together. You got to separate those two. If you have bad policing, you're going to have bad actors. If you have, maybe if you try something different. Now, Jeff Landry's move to take millions of dollars and put that into private schools, what kind of effect that's going to do. Now, granted, I wouldn't mind going to a private school if it was all black and I had some cultural situation going where I could understand my own culture. But not everybody has access to situations like that. And what I see that Jeff Landry want to take the money and give it to his people, his type of people, which is Caucasians and well-to-do people, and take the other money that we should go to neighborhood schools and black dominated schools and give it to the jail entities and build more jails to lock more youth up. And if you look at what, even with Roland Martin or even with some other professors who wrote books about white rage, this is what it's all about. They understand Jeff Landry blueprint is to build more jails for black folks and have more schools for white folks. That's the way we see it. I mean, Jeff Landry is not white, so he wouldn't see it the way I see it. He's more like Trump. He sees it in that type of glasses, and that type of what they say it's not a rose-colored glasses. It's more like a white clear glass. That's the way he see his society to be. So people, if we don't have people representing us in Baton Rouge or anywhere else, even on the city council in Lafayette and New Iberia, where they could do anything behind our back, that we don't know of. So again, let me go refer to this article in the Appeal. Go to theappeal.org. Theappeal.org. There's an article about Louisiana again. This is an independent publication dealing with Louisiana. Despite reforms, Louisiana still keeps some police data secret. And I'm going to gloss over it, and I'm going to go right here. At least 30 states, including Louisiana, neighbors Mississippi and Texas, make this information public. In Florida, researchers show that wandering officers are more likely to be fired at their new departments than other officers and rack up more sustained complaints about their moral characters than others officers. Louisiana used to be a part of this group. The state has released its certification data to journalists at least twice in 2019 and 2020 and 2021, and several other times to the Innocent Project in New Orleans. But now the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council, which is called POST, which certifies and oversees police officers in the state, claimed that a state law that was in effect at the time of the previous request limits our ability to release up-to-date information to journalists. Rebecca Taylor, a program manager for POST, told the Invisible Institute and the Appeal in an email that it is erroneous and simply false to conclude that Louisiana doesn't make peace officer data public, citing the some 10 to 20 requests daily that the Post receives for individual officers' history reports. But experts question Post's interpretation of state law. And there's a whole section on wandering officers. Again, people, we really appreciate you guys coming on board. And we want you to know that we'll be back on the air, not just on AOC Community Media next Wednesday, also simulcasting on 88.3 KIEE FM. Again, the views expressed by me and the callers were that of myself and the callers, not necessarily of the station managers or the board members of AOC Community Media, and also KIEE 88.3 FM. So we just want you to know this is simply our opinion and our dissemination of information and dissecting it with you, the audience. So if you have any complaints, let AOC know that you don't like what you're hearing. But again, there are other shows that certainly the opposite of mine you could watch. You don't have to watch. You could also just turn it and keep the channel going, or you don't have to watch. You could watch. Just go watch social media. Go watch TikTok and see how many squirrels could go up a tree, or see cats slapping each other in the face, or stuff like that. So pay attention, people, and we really appreciate you here on AOC Community Media. Again, thank you so much. And we're going to be signing off until next week on AOC Community Media and KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana.
Have you ever looked in a face of age? Lend your ears to what an old man had to say. 'Cause every generation of his life reflects a movie scene, often more than twice. Child is born to live within the master plan. Boy grows up, leaves his home to be a man. Vintage years of wine for the wine. Every generation of our life.